Hi, this is Thomas George, and this is episode 1 of Ask Thomas George. So on the Facebook group, Electra Music Production Group, I've asked you to think of questions to ask me, and hopefully I'll be able to answer some of them. Unfortunately, I can't answer them all, but I'll get through as many as I can. So let's just get straight into it. The first one is by Eden, which is a good way of recording acoustic guitar. So what I've done is I've actually got a few microphones. I've got a stereo pair. I've got these ones here. It's AKG C451B, and then I've got AKG 414. So the stereo pair are basically like cardioid mics that pick up any instrument, so big round sounds like room sounds, so stuff like acoustic guitars or choirs. And the 414 is a jack of all trades microphone. It basically can do whatever really. It's really great. It's got stuff like Omni, which means it picks up the whole room. Cardioid, so it picks up what's in front of it. And it's got a figure of 8 as well. It's got a few other settings as well, but they're the main ones I use. Figure of 8, which we're going to use for this, basically means it picks up the front, and on the back side as well, it picks up the back, so like literally like a figure of 8. So what we do is I'll just show you what I do. I'll record the guitar. I've also got like a portable recording rig here. It's going through to Logic Pro 10 on the laptop. So I just hit record this. It's all set up. These all need phantom power as well. And I've got an acoustic here. So the way I would actually do it is to first have the stereo pair facing by the hole of the guitar. So let's just get this about here, about a foot away. And the other one I'll have facing about the 12th fret. So you can pick up a little bit of fret sound as well, about here. And the figure of 8 414 I'm going to put about here, so it picks up any fret sound if you want that nice fret sound, and also the whole of the guitar as well. I don't really know if you actually need all 3 microphones for this, but I'm going to put it just in case, because it's always better to have more than little in terms of microphones for recording, because if you have too many, you can always take them away. If you don't have enough, it sounds a bit empty. It's not quite good enough. So let's just bang this in as well. So yeah, so if you see, I've got one side pointing one way, another side pointing another way. I'm going to have it about here. Okay, so you get the fret sound coming from this side, and the whole of the guitar, the sound comes out this way. So this is one of the stereo pair, the whole of the guitar. This is the second one, which is pointing around about 12th fret. And here is the 414 figure of 8. And here is all them together. Yeah, so obviously this is dry. There's still a lot of stuff you can do to process to mix it. But for now, I'm just going to talk about the recording, because the mixing is a massive subject you could take hours just doing. This guitar is also has a pickup in it as well, so you can put a stereo jack, or put a jack lead in there as well if you want. But I don't really like the pickups on acoustics. I normally think they sound a bit bad compared to miking them up. Always sounds a lot nicer in my opinion. I don't know, it depends. If you get really good pickups inside, it can sound nice, but generally it's not as good. Okay. Right, I'll just put these out of the way for one sec. Just put the camera back in the place it was before. Okay, the next question is from Richard. How to make drums impactful without taking over? So the main thing about that is I'd say to get a really good quality drum sound, and I'll mainly focus on the kick and the snare to make it really impactful. There's a few sneaky tricks as well. So if you go through and you find all the kicks, all the waves of the kick drum, you can actually find a nice MIDI sample or even another audio sample and match it up exactly the same place as the kick drums. It can take a bit of time, but it can really make it really powerful. But if you do get a really good quality, clean sounding kick, it's going to sound really big and impactful anyway. Same with the snare. Obviously there's little tricks you can do, like putting a reverb on the bus. But I would match up the snare and put in the sample as well. You can obviously flex it, which means put it bang in time, but sometimes you want that more natural sound. So I'd actually put the sample in line with the waves of that as well. Yeah, that's kind of the main ways of doing it. Obviously, there is other ways as well. You can put a sub kick underneath as well to kind of beef it out a little bit. So you can actually put the kick. You can also send like a pitch shifter to the bus, so you can shift it a bit lower. You can send a sub. There's like a sub feature on Logic as well, so you can sub to that as well to make it a lot lower and boomy. But a lot of it is experimentation. Just have a play around and just try and make it sound really big and clear. But yeah, use a good microphone, use a good preamp, and make sure you're using a good drummer. If the drummer's shit, unfortunately, your recording's not going to sound very good. But if you've got a really good drummer, really good mics, really good preamp, it's going to sound good no matter what. Okay, so the next question is from Miguel. So what Miguel's basically saying here is, if you don't speak the native language of someone, how do you communicate your ideas to them? I'd say the best way to do that is just to be clear in whatever you're doing. So you might not know the exact terminologies, but if you just explain simply and clear, I think they'll be able to pick it up. There's a few little sneaky tricks you can do. There's something called ScreenFlow, which is what I use to record my videos. So it shows exactly on screen what you're doing. Also, it allows you to speak through the microphone built into your laptop. So you can show people exactly on screen what to do, so they can see the mouse cursor move. If you pull up a video, you can do that as well. On Google Chrome, there's also something called Awesome Screenshot, which basically takes a screenshot of the page you're on, and you can add writing and pictures and stuff like that as well, which is pretty cool, and that one's free. There is a cheaper version, well, alternative version of ScreenFlow, which is actually a QuickTime Player, which is free, and that allows you to record the screen as well, which is pretty cool. But I'd say for that, just be really clear and really basic if you don't know all the terminologies in that language, and then just explain to them really simply and clear, and always ask questions. Do you understand? Do you want me to go over it again? Then it should be fine. Okay, the next question is from Jordan. Arguments pro and con of mastering your own music. So the pros of mastering your own music is you don't have to pay anyone to do it. You can do it all yourself. There are a lot of plugins, third-party plugins, like Ozone 7, which are really great for mastering your music. And they're not even that expensive either. And you don't have to have the hassle of sending your songs to someone else or physically going down there and watching them master. You can just do it all yourself, which can be really great. This day and age, you can do it yourself. There is a few cons as well. I'd say if you are going to master it yourself, you don't really get another pair of ears on it. You just you listen to your music. I know nowadays stuff like Logic and Ableton, you can do it all in the box, but it is nice to have someone else's opinion, just to have another clean mix. What I do is I mix it the best that I can, and then I send it off to someone else, and they just kind of tweak it and add a few little finishing pieces I wouldn't have really thought of. Another thing, a great thing about mastering, for me anyways, I find it really difficult to finish the song. And if I get mastered, that's it, it's done, it's dusted, the song's finished. Otherwise, I'd spend months, even years, just tweaking slight bits. Oh, I can slightly change the EQ of this, I can compress this a little bit more. When you get a mastering, that's it, the song's done, it's ready to ship, it's ready to be released. So I'd say that's a good thing of getting someone else to master it. It just makes you finish your song. Okay, we've got another question from Jordan. And it's how to network, engage vocalists / mastering engineers, etc. How to add these people to your circle. So what Jordan's basically asking is how to kind of network and add a lot of musicians and engineers to your circle. The main way to do that, I would say, is just collaborate with as many people as possible. So if you know any really great vocalists, offer to work for free to start off with, and just it's work on all different projects, and your name will get out there. Like I do a lot of work with a lot of classical musicians, even though I'm not really a classical musician, just so I can kind of expand my... It's more for me personally because I want to expand my kind of horizon of musical ideas. But for you, if you want to expand your kind of networks, go to a lot of events as well. If there's any music events, a lot of live gigs. You can always put on live gigs, and that way the artists will get to know you because you're the promoter, you're the event organizer. And just, try and collaborate. Message people on SoundCloud, Facebook, see if they want to do any collaborations, and that way you, just get to know people. Just be really polite, nice. And if the projects are really good, don't be afraid to do it for free or for cheap if you do want to expand your network. Okay, and the next question is Cheyenne, which is vocal production. It says using reverb compression. I think Cheyenne, that's a little bit too vague really. Vocal production, it really does depend on what you're producing. If you're producing hip hop, for example, you might want, for a certain style of hip hop, like UK grime, like a really dry sounding vocal up right against the microphone. If you're doing more kind of big ambient pop music, you might want to record it in a big room, get a lot of natural reverb, big huge sound. If you're doing a lot of pop music, you might want to double the tracks, so you could actually have the tracks one pan to the left, one pan to the right, or even have the singer singing twice over the same track, so it kind of adds out a bigger sound. And stuff like compression, it depends on what dynamic range you want really. If you have, well, what compression does, it makes the loud quieter and the quieter louder. So if you do want a lot of dynamic range, I wouldn't really compress your music much at all. If you're doing a lot of EDM, perhaps maybe compress it a little bit more if you're after that kind of like big sound constantly throughout. But generally, yeah, it depends on what you're trying to achieve really. Vocal production, there is a lot of like third-party plugins like Waves that has great reverbs and compressors. But you can do it all on Logic or on Ableton as well. But it really does, yeah, it does really depend on what you're doing and what style of music you're after. Okay, unfortunately, that's it for today. If you've got any questions for the Ask Thomas George Show Episode 2, please leave them on the Facebook group.